Hello, everybody. Hope you are all enjoying this Thursday. It's a wonderful day. Sid is on his way. We are going live. It's going to be a good day. All right. Oh. Hello. How are you today?
Good.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Sid's on his way. I'm talking to our lovely guest for the day. Who knows? I made him change his hat, so.
Oh, okay. That's
It is. I mean, I feel like, you guys, a lot of guys wear their hats, and women too. We wear our hats, and I don't think they look good when they have the sun fade.
Yeah. It's got to be for sure.
It's a cost.
See, no, Scully, he agrees with me. Just automatically.
Step your game up.
Oh, see?
What's up, Sid?
Hey, how you doing?
Is this
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. They're not connected at all.
Oh, we just look cool?
I just thought it'd be cool to have.
We just look cool.
Yeah, this is it.
Is this live on the other side so we can bug that while we're training?
But Ice knows what this is all about. He does. Are you still doing commentary? Do you do any commentating? Any of that stuff? Oh. Why not? All right.
Oh, no.
I haven't lately, but I'm waiting on the call from certain people, but I haven't lately. It's a political game. You know what I mean? It's political.
Yeah.
You got to be plugged in, and it's just the way it is.
So wait a second. Is this our opportunity right now to invite Scully down for October to commentate our fight?
Where are we going to get the zone on there too?
Why not?
Well, how about let's get the network first. We'll get the network first, and then we'll invite him on.
I don't know. I didn't invite him. You can just stream it live.
I'm always up for a road trip. Call me.
I know. What do you like most about commentating live boxing?
I like being me. I like telling it like it is. That's that. I don't know. Like I don't even know if I was ever in the running or anything, but I know with the bigger networks, it's kind of an unwritten rule that you have to toe the line. I guess you have to say what you're supposed to say, and I can't do that. Like I can't see anyone doing that, and I can't see why the network wouldn't want you to be real, and if it is what it is. Sometimes you have to say it, and I remember years ago, Kevin Rooney, who's Kevin's a street guy. Kevin's a real guy. And he's more real than Teddy. Like Teddy knows how to hold it in to a degree. Kevin was on HBO for a fight back around 1991. They gave him a try. And I remember it was a Russian guy, and the guy got hit with a big, good body shot. He might have fought Tommy Morrison, and whoever it was, he quit. Like he stopped. He had, and they were like, Kev, what do you think, Kev? And he goes, he quit. He quit like a dog. And right on live TV, he goes, he quit like a dog, and that was the end of Kevin. He was gone. No, really, that was it. They never had him back after that.
No. Yeah, you have to kind of talk.
You really do. You really have to. You have to have that decorum.
But I like it. I like that he's. I don't insult fighters, but Kevin was real. He's like, hey, quit like a dog. That's because that's how we talk when if me, Sid, Otis, Howard, if we were all in a room somewhere watching a fight. That's what we'd say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you want to hear what we have to say. Having us on there and then really reeling us in, putting a leash on us, well, you might as well have anybody. Who cares who's on there if you're not going to get all of them? And so I don't think I would be able to do that. And I know I would say something wrong, and it would be kind of a wasted trip.
So we got to get you on. What's the network that Snoop Dogg, they do those fights? Where they just
do anything, but they did the Tyson and
Thriller. Right?
Is it Thriller?
Is it Thriller? Yeah, Thriller. Thriller. I always call it Thriller. Yeah, Thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I just took me back to Michael Jackson, and I was like, how do I
they
get
should
to dance?
change it to Thriller because that's what everybody thinks it is anyway. So they might as well just call it Thriller.
Thriller. So I know one of the things that you need to do when you're commentating fights is you kind of got to get some background, some stuff on the fighters that are good, especially the undercard fighters who you may not know. And then sometimes you go. It depends. You go and you interview them to get a little more information stuff. When they're fighting, you actually talk about something like you know about them.
Right.
The other thing interesting about anyone that you met, like before the fight when you went in and you were like just getting their background, you were like, you know what, that was really interesting, or anything crazy that happened?
To be honest, I've never personally had to do that or done that. I just kind of wing it, and I go by what I see, and I'm a different guy, and I'm starting to realize that as I get older, and people tell me like I don't care that much if you have a dog or like you were born in Sudan, like I don't, your backstory. I don't know.
You're like, what are you gonna do in the ring? That's what I want to see.
But I guess they what happens usually with me is they already have that information and they give me a sheet of paper that's already there with the key points. But like I say, I guess subconsciously I've never really the only thing I've ever touched on when I've done fights, if I knew about the guy, like I'll give you a perfect example. There was a guy named Robert Salters, and he fought Riddick Bowe. He knocked Riddick Bowe out. He stopped Bowe in the Nationals in 1988, and I was there. And then he beat Bowe to make the Olympic team, but then Bowe beat him twice in the box off to flip it and make the team. A lot of people don't know that. Bowe came within this close of not making that team. Robert Salters was going to be the guy. So when Bowe fought, I did an ESPN Classic, one of Riddick's fights, and I brought it up about Robert Salters. And most people probably never heard of Robert outside of amateur boxing, and I didn't know Robert. We never talked. But after that, he contacted me on Facebook, and he's like, "Oh man, I appreciate you mentioning my name. So many people call me and say, hey, you were on ESPN Classic during the Riddick Bowe fight. The guy was talking about you. I didn't know you beat Riddick Bowe." He's humble. He didn't tell anybody. And people, his friends, were like, "I didn't know you beat Riddick Bowe." Wow. And so I'm interested in that kind of background. Yeah. How many dogs you had as a kid? I don't care.
Well, could you imagine getting the background on John Gotti III, right? Now, we're going to talk about that a little bit, but just be careful. I don't want anyone to disappear.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. If anybody's going to disappear after this conversation, it's going to be me. For sure.
They got across the border to get to us. We're good.
Did you see the fight?
No. I don't.
So we're talking.
I don't watch any of that nonsense. I don't watch any of it. I'm the only guy on earth that has not seen Floyd and McGregor. I never watched it.
You didn't watch that?
I didn't watch that nonsense. Are you crazy?
I did not watch it. Out of principle, I did not. I saw highlights from it, but I have not watched the full fight.
I can reenact it. Who do you want to be? You want to be Mayweather or you want to be McGregor? I can reenact it.
I didn't either really too much.
I didn't. Look at everybody was getting robbed off that fight. My brother thought McGregor was going to win because he was bigger and he hit hard. I had a guy who hates me, and I wish I could think of his name because I would say it on here, but I can't even remember his name. But he's this big goof from Vegas, and he was telling me before the fight. I hope I think of his name. I want to say it. But before the fight, he was a boxer. Not a good boxer, but he was a boxer. But he told me something like, "Oh, McGregor trains and fights 7-minute rounds in MMA, so 3 minutes is going to be easy." And I'm like, you boxed before. You're an idiot. You're still an idiot. Even with your boxing experience, you don't know. You apparently don't even know how stupid that is. And I knew that fight to the wire how it was going to be. Floyd was going to play with him. He was going to work. I do that every day for the last 10 years with novice guys in the gym. I've been doing it for 10 years, 20 years. My last fight was 20 years. I keep my hands up. I let them punch. I wait till they get tired. And then I show them what I could do to them if I really wanted to. And then they quit because they're done, you know. And that's what happened. I mean, come on, man. Floyd, could you imagine? Here's what I tell people. You got to put it into context. Floyd is a businessman. He's an entertainer. He's a master boxer. He knew he could play with McGregor. Now, could you imagine if McGregor decided to fight Keith Thurman? That fight would have went one round. Keith would have obliterated McGregor in one round, and we would have all went home. So, you know, they had the right guy to make all those millions. But I'm happy and proud to say that $100, none of those hundreds of dollars came from me.
So now I need to know, what is your stance on, what is it, Jake Paul? Is that the one that you like?
Well, he wouldn't even know who Jake Paul is.
That makes my heart happy.
He was like, Jake who?
Well,
Paul Jake what?
They drive me nuts.
Listen.
And like all the little teenagers that are like, I'm going to box and I'm going to do, Jake Paul's my hero. And
but,
I want to yell so bad.
I mean, they don't, the thing is, people say it brings new eyes to boxing, and I get it, but it's unrealistic. Everybody thinks they can be a fighter. Like, it makes our sport look bad because you can't be really good in your neighborhood and go, man, he could be in the NFL. He could play with the New York Jets. You know, like, it could never happen. But you've got guys going, man, Jake Paul does YouTube. I could turn pro. I could be a fighter. You know, it's not, he was carefully matched. And he did what he had to do. But, you know, there's obviously 10,000 guys at cruiserweight who would murder him. You know, it's just the way it is. And he did what he did to make money and you know, get out there and all that stuff. And I can respect that because he made a lot more money in one fight than I made in my whole career. So who am I to say he did it wrong? But, you know, he's not. What?
I think it may be the media, though, because if you look at it, you can see that there are levels to the sport.
Right.
Because as soon as you fought, like, I don't want to say a real boxer, because Tommy Fury didn't even have an amateur fight, but he was trained to be a real boxer. Tommy Fury was. He got outboxed. He got beat with a jab. So, and then he went back to, now he's going back to fight an MMA guy. So, like, the commentary, if it was said properly, was like, listen, anybody can get in the ring with somebody of like stature, but if you can't think that you're going to be an MMA guy or walk off the street and go fight a real boxer. It's not going to end well for you.
Right. Well, that's my issue. It's like you have people who don't belong, thinking that like if he just fought and did what he did, and people say, "Oh, it's cool. You know, I'm entertained. I want to check it out." But when you get people saying, "Oh, I want to see him fight Canelo. He's too big for Canelo." You know, then I got to say, hey, stop it. Draw the line. We've reached idiocy. We've reached stupidity. And you've got people, I don't want to name names, but you've got people on his team perpetuating that. And that's another, that go back to me, right? I couldn't train him because I couldn't lie and say, yeah, you know, I think he's too big for Canelo. I couldn't do that because you know why? I'll be honest. Because people like Sid would go, John, what are you doing? Like, why did you say that? You know what I mean? Like, people I respect would know I was selling out, and I'm not gonna do that. I would say, listen, we're gonna get murdered by Canelo, but we're gonna make a lot of money. That's what I would say. That's what I would say.
Belt for that fight too with Fury.
Oh, they made a belt, a beautiful belt, and that I feel bad about because, you know, like the real world champions, aren't getting belts like that, like without like that.
But I have issues with that, with going out and just making a belt for essentially an exhibition fight.
Imagine?
That's not fair.
And look, I understand he was happy, and you know, but Fury after the fight, he's got this belt, and he's holding it up like he was Sugar Ray, and he just beat Hearns. I mean, it's insane. Like, and that's the reality. reality. Like that, he's the epitome of what I'm talking about. Or, you know, a regular guy, he did what he had to do. He beat Fury, but he's there with the belt, holding it up, and he walks in the room and everybody's cheering like Tommy Hearns just came in after beating Pepino Cuevas. You know, it's insane. Like that belt in people's minds. Like if he walked in without the belt, it'd be like, hey man, what's up? But with the belt, it's like, yo, it's got the belt. What belt? What does it mean? It means nothing. And I had a discussion today on the internet. I'm talking about all the belts, the IBO, IBC, IBU, WBF, all that.
I saw that one.
And it's so, and I'm telling this guy, like, he's like, well, you know, it's good. You know, you get a guy who never gets a chance at the big belts. I go, listen, we're not here to make people feel good. This isn't a participation trophy for a 10-year-old because he sucks at baseball, you know, and you never get a trophy. So we got to give him something so he can not feel bad. This is professional boxing where the goal is to murder each other. And only the best murderers get the belts. Now you got guys, I don't want to offend people, fighters, but I've got guys with 3 or 4 belts, and I've never heard of these guys. I don't know who they are. I don't know what the belt is. I don't know anything about them. If you have 3 belts, I'm supposed to know you. You're supposed to be known.
Yeah.
Well, and then there's the belt, then there's an interim belt, then there's a continental belt, then there's an
America's belt.
Right, and every single category and weight category has 50 belts assigned to it.
Right. It's difficult.
I don't like it anymore.
Yeah. So
it gets under my skin. I get very frustrated.
Yeah. But I do gotta say the best part, because all right, forgive me. It was late, Ice. It was late. I really had nothing to do. I popped on YouTube and the algorithm got me. It was Gotti versus Mayweather. I'm like, well, let me see.
You watched it.
The algorithm got me. The algorithm got me.
Love.
So I watched the whole thing. I think it went 6 rounds. And
you should call me for support when that Just call me and I will guide you through this process of something else to do.
I didn't know it was
the referee
till it was over. I saw the next day, I saw the clip, and I thought the fight was coming up, and they were like, no, it was last night. I said, good. I'm glad I missed it. I'm good. You know.
I'm so sad that we are missing the 24th.
The referee stops the fight. Because they're jogging each other. It's just getting crazy, right? Mayweather's handling them really easy. Anyway, so the referee stops the fight, and Gotti runs around the referee and starts swinging at Mayweather. And Mayweather chest hooks him, and then next thing you know, there's like 50 guys, at least 60, 70 guys in the ring. They're in there. It's a big melee. And
so it's like Brantford a few months back.
It went crazy.
Okay.
It went crazy. So.
And this will tell you the story. Did anyone get either, and that I'm talking about in the whole melee, did anyone get knocked out or go to the hospital? No.
I don't think so.
Then it was staged. Mayweather's guy. Look at you know. If we're out there and we got that many guys with us, someone's going to the hospital. Period. The fact that didn't happen tells me those guys are real guys, maybe, but they were playing. Because if it was real,
a foreign fight, someone's going to a hospital.
Yeah. Well, that's it. It's entertainment. At the end of the day, it's entertainment.
But what does that do for the sport?
No.
Like, it's not classified separately as entertainment. They lump it in as boxing, professional boxing. There is no separation.
Okay, but like Ice said, one of the things they say is there's more eyes on the sport. And I had a teacher come in and say, in her high school, all their people out there, the little boxing and she's like boxing has come back. Boxing has come,
yes.
They're play boxing in the house because they're watching these YouTubers.
I will get, and that is why I got invited to Trav's school because they're interested in boxing, and boxing is coming back, and it is a beautiful thing to see. But then, how do you teach them the actual sport versus YouTube?
That's on us. Let them bring them in. and then let the teachers teach.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got to be like, okay, now let's tell you what real boxing is all about.
I'm really excited for the lesson.
The first,
I'm going to come watch you teach.
when those guys come into the gym, like 2 days after, you know, Jake Paul fights, every gym is flooded with new guys who, you know, have long hair and, you know, they never box. And you got to tell them, listen, I'm going to tell you one thing right from the very get-go. What you saw is not going to be how you are. It's not that easy. It's going to hurt a lot more than you think it does. You know, this is just not what you saw on Saturday night on pay-per-view. So know that ahead of time. You're not going to be on pay-per-view in a year because you just showed up because you saw Jake Paul fight Saturday. And, you know, and a lot of guys don't understand that. They think
yeah.
They're going to make it, you know, like because they saw Jake Paul. Like I say, no one, and guys know better, but no guy playing football with his friends in the park on Saturdays is going to be like, man, you know, Billy Ketch is really good. I think he could play for the Redskins. You know, like nobody would do that. Nobody, because they know better. Yeah. With boxing, more than any other sport, like, give an example. I say to a guy, you know, Carl Lewis is retired. Do you think you could beat him in a 100-yard dash now? Yeah, I bet. He's been sitting around. I could beat Carl Lewis. You know, could you beat James Toney now? And if, yeah, man, you know, they think they can do it. You know, like they would, like, it's so crazy, but they think, or they wouldn't say they could fight James Toney. Excuse me. They could beat a guy and they could last. You know, they could beat a guy. They can't beat Larry Bird in one-on-one. They know that. They can't beat Usain Bolt in a race. They know that. They can't beat Randy Couture wrestling. They know that. I bet you $100. Could you do 2 rounds with James Toney? Yeah. I keep my hands up. I'll move. I said, man, if James Toney wanted to, at any point in his life, the average man in America, he would brutalize them ridiculously easy. And people don't understand it because it's a macho thing. You don't want to be told you can't fight. A man doesn't want to be told you can't fight. You know, like Manny Pacquiao weighs, you know, he probably walks around like 148, right? Now, you take a guy in Gold's Gym that weighs 220 and can lift 5,000 pounds with one hand, he wouldn't believe if you tell him that little dude would smash you. He would knock you out. They wouldn't believe they bet their house. You know, I saw a guy, you probably saw it. I saw a video of some, I guess he's a bodybuilder, young guy. He's talking to Devin Haney. And he's telling Devin Haney that in a street fight, he would kill Devin Haney. And Devin's like, man, he goes, I've been hit. He goes, no, you haven't. You've been hit by people. You haven't been hit by a professional boxer who's going to hit you 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, and he knows where to hit you. And the guy couldn't fathom that Devin Haney would brutalize him out there. And, you know, people don't want to believe that they can't beat up another man. It's a sickness. It's a, you know,
I know, but you guys are so breaking down when he was like, you know, his career was great. Everyone said he was a boring fighter because of his skills, just unmatched. So what did he do? He went in the ring and he just smashed that guy's, or I can't even remember his name, but that man's poor face was just orbital bone crash, face in, and then they got all mad at him because he was too tough, like too brutal. You gotta pick. Yeah. You have to pick. Yeah. No, sure. You have to understand where you are, and are you here for the skills, or is that what you want? Just the brutality of it. So at the end of the day, like, you guys all know what to do. No.
So, we're on pause there. I'll talk to Terrence Crawford. See who's picking. All right, who are you picking? What were you asking first?
No, it's all right. You go. No, it's your question. You said I want to ask him, so go ahead.
All right. Terrence Crawford fight coming up. Who are you picking?
Well,
who are you picking for that one?
Let me preface this. Is it preface or preface?
Either one.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, whatever it is, I don't care. These guys ruined it for me. It's just like Mayweather Pacquiao. They waited 6 years too late. Terrence is what, like 36 now? I mean, think about that. 36. You know, he's not a, you know, I think of him like a 28-year-old.
Yeah.
but he's like 36.
That's surprising to me. I thought he was younger than that.
He's 34, 36, somewhere in there.
Okay.
He's at least 35. He might be 30 already, but he's at least 35. I know that for sure. So, you know, I got spoiled, right? I was a kid. Sugar Ray Leonard was 24. Tommy Hearns was 21. Tommy Hearns just knocked out Pepino Cuevas. Leonard beat Duran, and they fought each other, right? At that point. And now you've got these guys, they're talking about they're a businessman, and they're on Instagram, and they're Instagram famous, and they're going to wait, and they're going to argue over who gets 1 million more, right? Because they have to feed their families. I love that. I've got a family to feed. I go, if you can't feed your family already for the next 100 years, then you should quit. I mean, come on, you got to feed your. They act like they're 6-round fighters making $800 a fight every couple months. That's what they act like. Come on, man.
Yeah.
With that said, I used to be high on Spence. I would have picked Spence, but with I think he has some issues. You know, it is right. And I think even with that said, I think Crawford is much more well-rounded. And I think Crawford is a little too shifty, a little too smart. I think Crawford's decision.
Yeah. That's my pick.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
I mean, obviously, I like Crawford because he goes southpaw and orthodox, and I like the southpaw stance. But he figures things out.
Yeah.
His ring out, and it's not like Spence has a low ring IQ.
No.
He doesn't. But I just think that
good. He's very good. But I'm just saying, like, I just think Crawford is you know, more technical and a little smarter and executes a little bit more efficiently.
He adapts a little quicker and efficiently. Yeah.
And I think this is a really, really, really good fight. But I don't think it gets the hype and the buys that the Garcia and Tank Diggs fight gets.
No, it won't.
I don't. And this is a really good matchup, but I don't think it does.
Because
a lot of the
they've been invisible. They've been invisible. You know, where are you? Like, you know, you can't just be good. I mean, you live in the most prolific era in the history of the universe. If people don't know who you are, then you're doing something wrong. If I was fighting now, I would be so famous. Like I would be on Instagram. I would just be out there, you know, and I would tag everybody on earth, right? Even everybody I didn't know, I would tag them all. And, you know, and here's the thing, and it's crazy, but how many times have you heard Terrence Crawford's voice?
Wow.
That's a good question.
Not a lot.
If you heard Terrence Crawford talking on a TV, but you weren't looking at the TV, you were looking in the other direction, would you know it was him? I'll bet you my life savings you could never in a million pick his voice out. But I could pick Sugar Ray Leonard out.
Yeah.
I could pick Actor out. I could pick Larry Holmes out. I couldn't pick Terrence Crawford out. I don't know what he sounds like because he doesn't get out there. And I don't know if they think just being good is good enough, but you live in the most accessible era. People who don't even like boxing should know who you are. They should see your face and be like, man, who is this freaking guy? I see him every day. I see his face every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even for a while, that kid, you remember the kid that was boxing and he claims he's like 180-0 and he beat up Floyd Mayweather? What's it? Charlie Z. People,
Yes.
I can show you a picture of Charlie Z and people will know who it is instantly. And I can show you the same people, a picture of Crawford, and they'd be like, I'm not sure. Is that Crawford? I'm not sure. But they know Charlie Z because he's out there. You know, they call him crazy and stuff, but we know, I know more about him than I do some champions. I mean, think about that. Because he's so prolific on Instagram and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So then you would then say, I'm going to guess then.
Okay.
Do you have any heavyweights? No, sorry. So this is neutral. So then you're going to say probably the best heavyweight right now is going to be Tyson Fury because he has the whole package.
Right.
He has it all.
He's the most difficult. He's the most, you know, he's got the whole package, like not just physically, but mentally. You know, he's unbothered. You know what I mean? And he gets in your head like a guy like Deontay Wilder, not just telling you he's going to knock you out and getting in your face and all that, but then actually dropping you like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
And one of the greatest things I've ever seen, not just in boxing, but in my life, is when he went down in the 12th round. I thought he's out, he's dead, he's unconscious, he's sleeping, and he woke up like the dawn of the dead. I mean, it was so crazy. And he got up and he finished the round strong. I don't think the average person understands how amazing that was. And he's a special guy. I mean, you know, you don't have to like him and everything, but he's fought good. You know, he fought the good competition. He's knocking these guys out. He's entertaining. I just wish he would fight 3 or 4 times a year because he's awesome for the sport. He's entertaining. How many heavyweight champions in the last 20 years have been entertaining? Like, actually, you want, like when Muhammad Ali was on TV, you wanted to watch him. You wanted to watch interviews. When Mike Tyson was on, you wanted to watch his interviews. Now, no offense to these guys, but and I won't even name names, but think of 5 heavyweight champions over the last 15 years. Do you care what they say? Do you care what they would you watch an interview with them? No. I would watch if Mike Tyson did an interview today, I would watch it because I'm interested in the guy. Tyson Fury's that type of dude because he's deep, you know, he's interesting, and you know, he's you know, when he had the fight, when he was going through he said, I'm going through mental issues, like I'm having a mental break here, and this is for you. I'm gonna come back for you. I don't know if you remember when he said that, but he said, this is for all the people with mental illnesses. I'm gonna win this fight. I'm gonna show you can climb out of it, you know, and get yourself back. I mean, that's a champ, man. That's a real guy.
The word that is coming to my mind when you're talking, he's captivating. Right? He's like, I want to see when he finishes this fight and he grabs that mic, I'm like I'm not leaving. Like, what's he gonna say? Is he what's he gonna do?
You can hate him. You can say you don't like him, but when he grabs the mic, you're not changing the channel. You're gonna find. And listen, people will be online. People will be online and go, nah, I turned that off. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Good. All right. Well, man, that went fast.
That does. It always goes fast with good company.
Rapid fire.
Okay, I have to think of one.
Okay.
I wasn't on the ball today after the whole. I got my windshield smashed this morning by a rock, and then my whole brain just blanked, and I was like, anger. Anger train. All right. You go first.
All right. Okay. So I'm gonna ask you, car, any car. So you know what? Like, you can have any car you want. What kind of car would you be driving? Any car.
Believe it or not, I would get a 1987 Nissan Maxima. I love those cars.
That is crazy.
I love those.
Why a 1987 Nissan Maxima? I've never ever heard of it.
Go.
What?
Why?
I like them. I had one, and I wish I still had it. And I put some rims on it, and it was cool, and it was smooth. And you know what's funny? Like, back in '87, right? So that was 35 years ago.
Yeah.
In 1987, if you had a car from 35 years earlier, it would be ugly and it would be drab looking. It would be, you'd look at it and go, man, that's an old car. But if you had a 1987 Nissan Maxima now, you'd be like, oh, that's nice, man. That's sharp. It doesn't look like an ancient car. You know, we're advancing. So I like the Maxima.
Okay.
Robo Watts says, ha, that is so specific. I love that the answer was waiting to come in.
That's good. All right.
That's good. Okay. You only get to talk to one person.
Muhammad Ali.
Well, I was going to say for the rest of your life. Perfect. There we go. There we go. It doesn't even matter what I'm talking to him about.
I can talk to Ali. You know, entertaining that would be. And imagine being with Ali in private and really talking to him, and his real thoughts, that would be crazy. That would be, I would be into that, because he wouldn't be, all wild and big-eyed, and he'd be a real guy. He'd talk to you for real, if it was no TV there. And I think he was deep and he was interesting, and I would like to hear what he has to say.
Yeah. Anything Ali, whenever there's a book and walk around to Ali, like, I'm buying it. I'm like, is it Ali books?
So does that mean you guys will play Muhammad Ali Monopoly with me?
I've got Muhammad Ali Monopoly.
I'll play that. You have it?
Right?
Yeah, I got
it's the best, isn't it?
I have it.
I gotta get it.
You don't have it?
I don't have it.
I'm very disappointed.
No, but I will get it.
That was like that was Travis's thing. He was like, he needed it.
Wow.
Yeah. So we got it.
Ice, thank you so much, man, for taking the time to chat with us. Always a pleasure. Safe travels, because I know you're always traveling. You're here, you're there. And the work you are doing with the boxers, retired boxers, man, so appreciate you, man. The guys that have, put their life on the line. And you make sure they're not forgotten, that they are able to beat them.
I sold the belt for good money to a guy, and I'm going to give it to him in Times Square on the 24th. And then I'm going to walk across the street, and I'm going to drop some envelopes in the post office box on 42nd Street, going out to Benitez and McClellan and Pritchard Cologne. It's going to be cool. Yeah. So I got to give him the belt first. I got to get it into his hands, and then I'll send the money out.
That's good work,
That's really awesome.
That's good work, man.
If you don't know, you can follow Scully. He posts things all the time to raise money to support other fighters. And there's some really good stuff that goes up, and it's a lot of fun. You can add to your collection, and you can help support retired boxers, which is really great. And
it's Facebook. He's always got interesting thoughts. They get lots of comments. He loves to stir it up, and because he's real, he just tells it like it is, and it's so much fun to watch all the comments. I just I speak in there like.
You won't regret the whole thing, for sure. It's my favorite.
It's good conversation, man. Good conversation.
Hey, sometimes I'll put a status up and I'll go, yeah. That's going to be a good one.
Oh, man.
Can I get tagged in the ones that you have that thought in, just so that I can automatically get notifications and I don't have to search?
Right.
All right, man. Be good. And, we'll catch up soon.
All right,
Thank you for
joining
me.
Thank you for having me. All right.
All right. Have a great day, everybody. And we will see you all in 2 weeks. It looks like we have a potential, as I will not be here, it will be Sid at SidFit.
SidFit.
And it will be Sonia somewhere in the UK, place undetermined.
SidFit, Sonia in the UK.
There we go. We're going to change the name. And we're hoping to bring us a global boxer to our show.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
So it'll be a good time.
Don't miss it.
Don't miss it. And we'll see you then. Have a great Thursday. Is it Thursday?
It is Thursday.
Have a great Thursday.